Eris Morn, Anomaly, Crota's bane, and sole survivor of the Hellmouth incursion to assassinate the cursed hive god Crota, son of Oryx, the Taken King. Eris was a guardian once. Whether she can still be called that now is questionable. Some, like Commander Zavala and the Speaker, regard her as mad, and claim that her obsession with the hive is dangerous. Others, like Ikora Rey, see her as a valuable asset, a wealth of expertise for a relatively unknown enemy, the hive. Eris Morn is a mysterious character in and of herself, and perhaps the most defining and worryingly intriguing feature is her eyes. Beneath the veil that covers the top half of her face, we can see three glowing green eyes, just as the hive have, and a mysterious, ever-flowing dark liquid that seems to eternally seep down her face almost as though she is weeping. But how did she acquire these unsettling features? Join me as we explore some of the lore of the Destiny universe regarding how Eris Morn lost her original eyes and how she came to acquire her current ones. So, as we know, Eris Morn went into the Hellmouth with a fire team consisting of Eris Morn herself, a hunter, Ariana III, a warlock, Tolan the Shattered, another warlock, Vel Tarlo, a titan, Omar Aga, a hunter, and Sai Mota, another hunter. And, as we also know, only she returned. We know that she spent years in the Hellmouth, hiding from the hive, surviving somehow right under their nose. And up until now, we didn't really know how she did it. However, upon inspection of the Last Wish raid gear for the hunter, we may have a small inkling as to how she survived, how she came to have her eyes replaced by her hive-like visage that she has now, and possibly how she lost her light. Upon inspection of the hunter raid armor from the Last Wish raid, we have multiple passages describing the Great Hunt and the actions of some guardians during the aforementioned hunt. Let's take a moment to read through those. First up, we have the Mask of the Great Hunt. Its lore describes a recounting of some events during the Great Hunt in a letter to Mara Sov, Queen of the Awoken, by then-Guardian Eris Morn. The text reads, "The Ahamkara remain an issue. There's still so much we can learn from them. But what they've done to Venus, no two Guardians see the same thing. Consultants from the War Cult have been brought in to gauge disagreements over the timelines of events. One of our warlocks stared into the paracausal phenomenon that formed over the Ishtar Academy and shot himself. He is not an authorized Thanatonaut. Luckily, his ghost hid from him beforehand. We managed to get him back, and he has no lingering physical wounds, but will need time to recover. We thought we were gods who had found an opportunity for more power, a silly notion to the likes of you and me. But the average Guardian has not been threatened like this. The Titans are beside themselves. We will take extreme measures, we must. But these creatures have such means that they will flee far and wide, perhaps all the way to you. Mara, I implore you, if you hold your people as dearly as you say, you will end them on sight. Eris Morn." From this we can gather that even as far back as before the Great Disaster, and we know this is before then because Eris has yet to pledge vengeance on Crota, Eris has had some form of relationship with the Awoken Queen Mara Sov, at least developed enough to send a personal letter to her and be on a first-name basis. The next entry is from the Vest of the Great Hunt, which describes a battle between Titan Wei Ning and an Ahamkara. The text reads, "Venus, the Great Hunt. The Ahamkara refused to die. For a day, Wei Ning had been fighting it to a standstill with her bare hands, cratering it repeatedly into the ground. Eris had seen Wish Dragons drive Titans mad by refusing to fall to brute strength, but Eris was pretty sure Wei Ning was already insane. Confession time, the Titan said, as she hammered punches into the Ahamkara's tentacled face. I've been wishing that this fight would go on forever." Eris balked. "Please stop, you psychopath. We have 6 others to handle." No, we want this. Trust me, Wei Ning said. An hour later, 6 shapes emerged from the Venusian foliage. Ahamkara, their compatriot, whom Wei Ning continued to pound into the ground, was pulsating, growing stronger, feeding. The others had come to feast at the same table. Eris pulled her arc blade from the air and blinked. When the hunter and the Titan finished their hunt, Eris thought she heard Wei Ning whisper, "Did you say something?" "I was about to ask you." Huh. The next entry comes from the grips of the Great Hunt, with lore detailing Lord Shax kneeling next to a dying Ahamkara, and Commander Zavala and Eris Morn's conversation about the event. The text reads, Venus, a year into the Great Hunt, Eris and Zavala watched as Shax sat with the dying Ahamkara, a hand on its snout. Is he gloating? She asked. I think he's too pragmatic to gloat, Zavala said. Mourning, then. Perhaps. The Ahamkara twitched, its eyes rolled up into its head. The biochemical glow just beneath its skin grew harsh. Zavala and Eris raised their hands against the increasing glare. The corpse exploded. Dirt showered the Guardians like dusty rain on a clear day. Shax sat silently in the resulting crater, covered in a sheet of green fire. Zavala and Eris opened their mouths to speak, but Shax interrupted them. Shh, he said, as the flame quietly roared. They could all hear a disembodied whisper, but they were used to that by now. The next entry comes from the strides of the Great Hunt, whose lore describes Eris Morn and Ikora Rey discussing what they were offered by the Ahamkara prior to destroying them, as they stood over a graveyard of Ahamkara bones. The text reads, Eris and Ikora stood over a graveyard of whispering bones. An hour ago, this was a vibrant army of Ahamkara. What did they offer you? Said Eris. Her stare reached for a mile in front of them. So did the grave of bones. The same as you, I'm sure. Ikora stood buoyed by a gentle flow of light above the whispered bones. It was easier to concentrate up here. Everything they say is true, said Eris. Ikora looked down at her sharply. Sentiment like that leads to morbid places, she cautioned. Yes, came the reply. If you guide your light north, I'll take the south. This will be quick. I think they showed me my life before my ghost. Eris, focus. Yes. Together, the Guardians summoned a storm of light that consumed the bones around them. They ignored the whispers, but the voice grew louder, harsher as the maelstrom progressed. Soon, they couldn't tell the difference between the whispers and the storm. The last entry comes from the Cloak of the Great Hunt, and this is the most important section of lore regarding the topic of this video. The text reads, The Great Disaster. Years after the hunt. They are dead. Wei Ning, Ariana 3, Toland, Sai Mota, Omar, Veltarlo. Guardians live lives of loss. Everything around us inevitably turns to dust. When we come together, it's to war, against the enemies of humanity, against each other. One of our few comforts is the knowledge that our peers will be there tomorrow, for good or ill. My fire team has been robbed of that. I am lost in these lunar tunnels, out of ammo, short on light. I am out of moves, save one. I clutch an Ahamkara bone in one hand, and my dead ghost in the other. I hear a whisper. My vision is gone. My face itches from the viscous flow from my eyes. Though I can't see, I find that I suddenly know the way out. Now, up until this point in the Destiny lore, we knew a few things about Eris. She led a fire team of Guardians into the Hellmouth to assassinate Crota. The attempt failed horribly. Eris was the only survivor of the fire team, save Toland, whom we only recently knew to survive. Eris roamed the Hellmouth for years, stripped of her ghost and her light, surviving, somehow. Eris lost her eyes, and took the eyes of the hive around her in compensation. Eris returned from the Hellmouth changed, different, able to use hive magic and containing knowledge of things that no other Guardian save Toland could know about the hive. We now know how she survived. She made a wish upon an Ahamkara bone. Consequently, perhaps this is also how she lost her light. It was the price of the wish she made. Because as we know, all wishes granted by an Ahamkara come with a price, one that is often much greater than the benefit of the wish itself, which is why they were hunted so direly in the first place. Note that the price likely didn't include her ghost, as her ghost was dead before she made the wish. How her ghost died is another mystery entirely. However, we do know that ghosts, when separated from the traveler's light for too long, can die, or at least deactivate, as implied from a grimoire card obtained from a dead ghost in Destiny 1, the beginning of which reads, I have stayed with the Cabal even as the light in me dims. I have been too far from the traveler for too long. If I am not destined to find my own guardian, At least I can inform the city of what I learned. Now, to my knowledge, this may not necessarily be true anymore, because to my understanding, and please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, all Destiny 1 Grimoire has been retconned, so take the whole ghost die if too far from the traveler for too long thing with a grain of salt. Also, before we move on to the next passage, I like to note that a guardian being separated from their ghost, or having their ghost die, doesn't strip them of their light. It simply prevents them from being resurrected if they die again, thus leading to their final death. We know this because in Curse of Osiris, Osiris is fully able to utilize his abilities as a warlock, despite his ghost, Sagira, being captured by Panoptes, the Infinite Mind, and Tevis, a hunter and night stalker who died while fighting Vex in the Black Garden after being separated from his ghost, was found still clutching a small orb of void light. Even though in the two examples the Guardian's ghosts weren't dead, just merely not with them, it stands to reason that it should be safe to assume that the source of a Guardian's power is not their ghost. So, we know now how Eris survived the Hellmouth. We also know how she came to acquire her frightening visage. We also know now that she has kept an Ahamkara bone from the great Ahamkara hunt, which is likely the rock, as the late Cade 6 so affectionately calls it, that she carries around with her at all times. But a few questions still remain. Where is Eris now? Just how close is her relationship to the Queen of the Awoken, Mara Sov? Does she know about Riven? And, since we know that Ahamkara can transcend death in some form, does the bone she carries still speak to her in hushed whispers? Is this why she always has it encased in a green aura, to silence the whispers, perhaps to herself, or others, or both? Assuming she still carries the bone at all. Perhaps these can be topics one day for another video. So now it's time to ask, what do you think about Eris and her current developments? Where do you think she is now? Do you think she's being manipulated by the Ahamkara remains she carries with her? Assuming that is what she carries in her hands. Be sure to let me know in the comment section down below. And if you enjoyed the video, please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to join my Discord, as it is the best place to receive updates from me and interact with me. Until next time, and always remember, eyes up, Guardians, and may the light always be with you on your journeys. Hey everybody, Joe the Bear here. I really hope you enjoyed this video. It took me a while to make, but I really wanted to make sure I'm improved on my narration since last time. Be sure to let me know in the comments how I did since the last video, since I've moved away from generic narrator voice number 1. Now I know I said it would be 15 plus minutes long for this video, and I really thought it would be. But, you know, hey, we made it to about 13, so I really hope those extra 2 minutes aren't too much of a deal breaker. Be sure to comment and tell me what you thought of the video. I really do like making these kind of videos, and I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. I'm looking forward to making more of these, as they are really fun. With all that being said, I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye!